Okay, they just pulled a stunt with the bus. So Metro was supposed to arrive at 5:30. I get down there and I check. I'm like, let me see. While I'm right in the middle and I can either like easily make it to the bus stop or turn around. So I text. It was the quickest the text ever came through. They just wanted to manipulate me going to the bus stop. And it said that it was like 1 minute away. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I go and I wait 1 minute. So now it's like it says it was going to be there at 5:31 now instead of 5:30. It's like 5:32, and I text again, and it says 6 o'clock. So I turn around and I come back. Before I left, first of all, I'm running off no sleep, and I'm running off no sleep for probably the third or fourth day in a row. I've had about maybe 7 hours in 4 days now. It's really bad. And I get to Walmart. This morning I go early because I'm like, the covert activity will be there, but it won't be as, heavy as it is in the afternoon and evening hours. So I go with intent to get an SD card. And I actually have videos of this stuff. Like, it'll be in a video that's titled Coverts and Corporations 303. But I probably won't upload it or compose it until like the middle or end of February. So that's why I'm making this note now, because it's imperative. I just it's Today was really bad. And it's always really bad. So I go and they tell the guy that's watching the cameras. First of all, I've already cut the SD card and have it. But they tell him that I'm walking out with a buggy full of food. So they give him the wrong intel. So he sees me near the salads and he's making his way towards the door, thinking he's going to meet me and catch me at the door. I was never hitting the door. I intended on paying for the groceries. So I go and I come around and I hide it, I took it off. You'll see that in the videos. And I come back later. I come back like 3 hours later. I come back and I get it. And there's covert activity there with like some female managers, like I told you, they're using the identities of others. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen to a person, because they create this imaginary beef with these people that you don't know from anywhere. And so I get this card and I get some groceries and I leave. And I'm pissed though, because I didn't get all that I came for. I did not get all that I came for. I'm like, I gotta go back later. So anyhow, I do some more running around. I go out to like Talmadge, for toilet paper and stuff. And then I come back. And I'm like, it's 2:30 now. And I'm like, I'm gonna take an hour and a half nap and set my alarm for like 4. Maybe it was a little longer. I set it for like 2 hours or close to 2 hours. And I come and I try to lay down, and the entire time they bother me. There's a patent number for silent subliminal presentation systems. The patent number is 5159703. And the patent itself, it entails a lot. You have to look into it. But one of the things that they do is they are able to pretend that you're resting when you're not. It's complete torture. Just when you're about to doze into a sleep, they'll give you a surge of energy so that you can't doze. So they're catching you in like the theta I believe it's the theta stage of sleep, which is like a drowsy meditative stage. You know, like the sleep, you feel it, you can go. And then they completely wipe the sensation clean. And it's like they'll do the same thing over. They'll loop it. They'll do it over and over again. Every time they see me about to doze into a sleep or dreaming state, they wake me. And they absolutely have been trying to keep me from getting REM. So when I wake a short while ago, like when I wake from this drowsy meditative, like I said, you're just about to doze into a sleep and I feel myself going. But then I feel this surge of anger. And I'm starting to pick up on it. Because it's a meditative state, you still have, it's like a blended state of consciousness. So although you're focused in, you know, in the process of dozing, you also pick up what's going on in the background. You're still like, you'll if anything is going on around you, you'll pick up on some of that activity. And so I hear them making suggestions and I hear them going off. And you know, first of all, let me tell you how I ended up getting the SD card. I told you they have future predicting technology, and that's a matter of decoding our mind, like my bloodline's minds. It's a matter of decoding the mind and putting the properties into a process. So, future predicting technology, they're able to run test scenarios. It's like parallel reality, you know, where you run test scenarios and you see, it's like you get a lot of predictions and you get the expected, you get the outcome in a way. For those that are possessed and those that are operating with artificial technology, that's what the possessed individuals are operating by. Is very, very, very accurate. They're running all these test scenarios, and if they want to change the outcome, you know, they just simply change something in between. You know, like they change something and it'll alter, you know, the path, but precisely to get exactly what they want to happen. So they ran some scenarios while I was there. I'm mad now. Like, when I come back the second time, I'm pissed because they've been bothering me the whole 3 hours I've been going about it. I haven't had any sleep. They bothered me about it since last night. And I did laundry by hand in the tub. So this all started about 9 p.m. last night when I left the library. Oh, I haven't told you the date. It's the 8th. 8th of January, 2020. So this happened yesterday, the 7th. So, they run some test scenarios. I'm mad while I'm there. You know, like I said, they've been bothering me about it. But they have not been administering anger. They've been more focused on keeping me from getting angry. They've been more focused on keeping me from getting angry. And so they run these test scenarios. And they found that I was going to hurt him. They found that I was going to hurt the guy. They found that what I said was true. Because I always tell them. I'm like, you know, like, I've legally binded the entire city. And y'all, like, too many fucking crimes have been done to me for you to be attacking me in the way that you are and think that you're going to be using somebody else's, you know, like, showing up and causing problems for me. So I said, if he catches me at the door, as soon as we get in the back room, I'm hurting him. And if it's 2 people there, I'm letting them know one of them got to get their ass beat and it's going to be a fight. And they found that it was true. So they left me alone. That's how I got the SD card. I come home after, like I said, running some more errands. And I'm trying to sleep. And I wake up with this anger. I'm telling you, it's the worst feeling of rage ever. And then you have them antagonizing you. You have this entity antagonizing you that you cannot get to. I'm talking about they're going in and overboard because it's being done remotely. It's horrible shit. So I'm like, made my mind up. And now they're trying to buy time. Because it always gets to this point where I'm like, I'm about to pick a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you are not going to be angering me this badly. And no one gets hurt behind it. Someone is going to get hurt behind this. And they're trying to keep me from getting the Lord. It's like a horrible situation. I told you before in other videos that they don't want them to pick up on the agents in place. They don't want the agents in place to pick up on the anger in person. They don't want them to witness it. So instead they'll do something like this and show it to them. They'll attack me while I'm alone, where no one's around. Piss me off to the highest level of festivity so that no one catches it. And then they'll like pull a stunt with the bus. You know, like try to buy themselves time and calm me down. And when I told you before too, they're seeing this anger. They're seeing the anger. They're watching it build. And while this is all going on, they're also like putting their hands on the back of the clone while they're cursing. And my back gets really tight. It gets really tense. It feels like it's going to pop. And let me back up a little bit. I told you I said my dreams. They try to keep me from dreaming. The whole point of them interfering with my sleep, these periods of sleep deprivation, are always because they have agents under a particular suggestion. They have them under a particular suggestion, and they keep me from sleeping so that they don't find out who I am. They're lying about my identity. They don't want them to find out that I'm Christ's mother. And I told you before, my dreams are a telltale sign of who I am. When these people see me dream, they like, there's no question, you know, and they often don't want anything to do with the attacks that are being made. What they're doing is they're keeping me from sleeping, and they'll allow the clone to sleep. And I told you, the clone now serves as a possessed individual, which means that it's under suggestion. They can control it to do whatever, you know, like they're able to influence the type of dreams that it has, the type of actions that it has, the type of scenarios that are played out with it. So they're completely fooling others. And they don't want these people to know. And like I said, they're always under suggestion. They don't know any different until I show up. And when I show up, obviously, everything conflicts. Everything conflicts, and then there's like so much horrible shit takes place when that happens. But yeah, this whole anger thing, like waking up enraged. And then, you know, like you feel like you're being pinned down. It's not like sleep paralysis. It's nothing like that. It's a different feel, you know, like I've described it in other videos. But I haven't had any sleep. Too many crimes have been committed against me. And then they think on top of all that, they're going to anger and antagonize me. And y'all showing up as everybody around me. You think I'm not going to hurt somebody? You got another thing coming. They mad about these complaints. They're mad about these fucking complaints. And they're starting to set off a lot of alarms. I told you, this boils down to a population of the government. Area 51 type aliens. Area 51 type agents. Those that are controlling everyone else. Like they're controlling the CIA, the DIA, NSA. You know, like those are all just bodies they're using. And they often erase and rewrite their memory in order to get them to behave in a particular manner. I'm so fucking mad. I'm so fucking mad, and this is just like, they know how bad it is. It's too much metal on the fucking bus. It's too much metal on the bus. And then right after they pull a stunt like this, you know, they start talking about how badly I hurt these men in person. Like, if I get into it with the officers at Walmart. Because it's a police officer is a covert profession. It's a covert profession. It's a category that they've created to use in the manner that they want. It's never about justice. So yeah, identities don't matter. And they know that. They know that. They know that if I have to call the cops to my place, that they got to show up. More than one has to show up. Because I'll hurt the cop. I can prove everything I say. Negligence is at an all-time, like, this is the worst hate crime that's ever been committed on an individual. Oh, so anyhow, I was talking about before this. I was talking about they're watching the anger and they're looking at it, and then they'll begin to remove it. They'll begin to remove it. And then it's almost like you have to apply effort to be mad. I'm talking about, you can go from like 100 to 0 in a millisecond. That's not normal. That's not normal. It takes time to come down off of anger. And they've been taking the advantage of the fact that I'm not easily angered. This has been going on way too long, 2.5 years. And I finally put enough things in motion that I can kill someone and get away with it. Fuck. So anyhow. See? I gotta get out one more time tonight. There's so much that was said surrounding this matter. I just wish I could recite some of it. And the next bus doesn't come till 7:13. An hour and 12 minutes from now. Do you think I'm still going to be angry? And you know, it's horrible because they said, we just want you to see. This has happened on like 3 or 4 other occasions. We just want you to see how they stay out your way when they know how angry you are. We just want you to see how we stay out your way when we see how angry you are. It's like an attack on joy. They hate and absolutely cannot stand my joyful disposition. And my vibrations irk them. My vibrations irk them. You know, words carry vibrations. That's why they're always attacking mine. Hold on. I want to say 2 things about that. Words carry vibrations. They're always attacking my vibrations as they're watching all their little fancy technology. They're watching my emotional and my vibrational frequency. They're watching it. And that's where all the dogma comes in, you know, all the verbal attacks that are 20, like it's constant, it's nonstop. Whereas they talk to covert professionals and targeted individuals, you know, ever so often, they talk to me all day long. I'm always alone. I'm always alone. Those are attacks on my vibrations. Another thing, when I woke up with that anger, I was about to go the fuck off. They have a way. It's like being choked at the same time. They just completely lock up your throat chakra. And you know, that affects how you speak. Affects how you express emotions. It affects so much. In terms of expression, it affects so much, and they'll lock it up. So imagine being enraged and not being able to express it. So you're laying there with the rage and you're like, I gotta kill somebody quick. Oh, you can't see me. Okay, it's December 4th. I mean, not December 4th, January 4th, 2020. And I have not been asleep in 48 hours. So just a short while ago, it's 8:42 a.m. Just a short while ago, I was about to go to Sheets, because that's where I go to withdraw my utility money. And you know, they were talking about the imposters there, you know, how shamefaced they get when they see me in person and stuff like that. That had nothing to do with whether I went or not. I noticed that, like, suddenly it got foggy out, but when I checked the weather, it said it was only going to snow. So anyhow, I decided to just wait. I was going to go to Sheets and Speedway. So those are two, like, businesses, I guess you could call them corporations. Anyhow, they're under the wrong suggestion, obviously. When I laid down, they were talking about how they have them, I told you, they have particular groups, particular brands, particular things that always try to show up wherever I'm at to mistreat. Because I don't have anything to do with any facilities like Homeless Outreach doing laundry there, or CRRC doing laundry there, or OMJ looking for work there, they show up like at a Speedway or something, but they're not showing up there to mistreat. They're showing up just to look embarrassed. Embarrassed because of maybe it's not embarrassment. It's more of a no, it's embarrassment for sure. But anyhow, it's like a bittersweet moment for them. When I laid down just a little while ago, they were talking about how they'd be so happy to see me on foot walking at this other pace. I told you sometimes they attack my legs to slow me down on purpose. So they were talking about how these people be happy to see me walk at this other pace. They were talking about my brother's imposter. I told you they've been on him a lot lately, and he's never a topic. They're trying to make him one. So they were discussing how, I told you, whenever he shows up, he always shows up and shows us stupid. Like whoever uses that body shows up and does the same thing, and then someone else will show up and contradict. So they're showing that he's schizophrenic. They're displaying that. And I've made it public. So anyhow, I'm laying there and they're going off. They were talking about how they want to see me experience this other stuff. So they're trying to manifest something harsh and something extreme, They're trying to manifest something harsh and something extreme, but in the form of social media. Some sort of comment or response, nothing in person, because they know I beat their ass in person. So they were talking about how they hate when I have cake before I go to sleep. I just had some chocolate cake. And what they're doing is they're watching the display of my digestion, how things move. And they said, and you know, that's a dead giveaway for them. For the condition that they're claiming that I'm in, nothing's supposed to move. So I even feel them interfering. Like I'll feel them, I told you, like tighten up. You've heard me talk about this in the past. They'll like make a knot, you know, the food will get stuck right here or right here, but they're getting mad because they can see it digesting. And they said that they needed things to look, you know, a specific way, to appear a specific way. They need these people to think that I'm weak in order for them to carry out whatever attack it is they're trying to manifest. But
this actually is more of a corporation's ordeal. So these are the things that take place at the stores when I show up.
Yeah. They ain't giving me no problems in person. I told you I'd be telling them to show up. And when they show up at the library, them motherfuckers show up obedient. Like I told them, I said, y'all ain't got to do nothing. Like, I'll do everything for you. All you got to do is roll your eyes and I'll do the rest. Look at me and roll your eyes. Them motherfuckers come in. They look straight at the computer. If they leave before I do, they leave in, you know, like quietly. Like, they either looking at the computer or their phone. They don't say nothing. They don't deviate. They don't look in my direction. Because they know I'm waiting to and I'm able to cause a fight. I'm able to drag your ass. Like, I'm good. So anyhow, it's almost 9 for the last 9 hours or so. Actually, for the last 10 hours or so, they've been rehashing past events and getting absolutely shut down by them. So what takes place is when I shut it down, they like repeat the same thing over and over and over again. So they're looping the same 5 or 6 events that are outdated. Okay, and right now what they're discussing is how they have to do something to get these people, to get it to look like I'm jealous of people. They were saying that they've been trying to manifest something to get it to look like I'm jealous of people. So, I mean, I told you, with the whole RFID ordeal, you know, it's a tracker. They put identities, like when they put them in the same area, they manipulate reality with parallel reality. These are all in parallel reality. These are all things that operate under command, under suggestion. So you can pretty much get these identities to do whatever you want them to do. So by having a few females show up at the library yesterday, like they could have painted a false picture of reality, but reality to whoever gets to see that, you know, like parallel reality is solely for disinformation. I don't know who's seeing the truth, because I told you, even when it comes to agencies like the CIA and stuff like that, although they have access to surveil, like they don't have their minds, you know. It's an identity that's being used by Area 51 aliens, you know, Area 51 agents. So they're subject to subconscious mind attacks. You know, there's nothing in place to protect the government from subconscious mind attacks. So if they want to remove memories from those, that's what they do. If they want to re-image them to think and act and do things in a certain way, that's what they'll do. I've been talking all this time. I'm so mad. I don't know what it got. I was talking about how, well, it's 8 minutes, so I had to catch that. So they've been out of hand. They've been out of hand for, like I said, 10 hours straight. It's 9 a.m. now. So what I'm gonna do while I attempt to fall asleep, I went to the library yesterday early off of no sleep, and they were trying to influence that today. They were trying to manifest the same thing. They were trying to manifest the same thing. They were hoping that I go to the store, and they were thinking that on my way back I just kind of deviate off the path and go there. But they saw me decide against specifically, and when I decide against something, they know that that's the bottom line. They know it's not going to happen. So that's kind of why they lit up on the whole thing, and like manipulated the energy, so that the motivation to go would be affected. And when I say I decided against, meaning like when they realized that, they tried to administer energy so that I couldn't sleep. So it was like I hope that makes sense. Before I got ready to go, I was laying on a massage bed. And I'm like, oh, let me get up and go. But during that time, I was able to actually doze into a sleep, but I decided to get up and go. So once I see that there's fog, I decide against, and I factor in a couple of other things, and I decide against. Not because I couldn't go, I just decided against. So, anyhow, once I did that, like I said, they manipulated the energy and the motivation to go. Because it's all about them claiming influence. They want to place claim on my actions. They're trying to act like they're able to get me to do things, and they're not. That makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat a few of the things they're saying, because like I said, they've been going in for like 10 hours straight. Non-stop. And I've kind of just been, like I said, combating it, but not really, like more so trying to block. I was focused on trying to go to sleep. I was trying to rest. I have not rested in 48 hours. Like at all, zero sleep. And this is a problem too. Like me even attempting to capture this is a problem, because it causes me to have the phone near me. And I don't sleep with or lay with the phone near me unless I'm using it. Right now they're discussing how I don't lose sight of who and what they are, and that I'm not fooled by their voices. Imagine monsters. Imagine gruesome, horrible, evil spirits. We're talking about they're perverted, they're murderers, and they're addicts, junkies, with the most common voice. So they speak in a tone where they sound no different than someone you'll run across, but the nature of their conversation is the evilest thing you've ever heard. It's 9:04. They've been talking for the last couple of minutes, but not about anything worth mentioning. They're talking about what happened yesterday for like the 100th time at the library, about them coming, like the agent that they sent in, recognizing and getting to witness how angry I am, and a couple other irrelevant topics. They said that man was looking at people rape these motherfuckers at this other place. Right now they're discussing how people are looking at me exactly like I'm Christ's mother, but they're not able to be happy because they know what it means for evil and eugenics. So they're looking at me as a threat or a problem. They're discussing all the odds, stares, and looks like it. She said, and some people are going to be happy when they see your ass get into these vehicles. I'm not getting into any vehicle. I'll be driving myself. You won't be seeing me like ride with the government ever. They said, I'm going to go to sleep and then people are going to be looking at them like they knew that I wasn't going to change. They're talking about how once they went into my dreams, they become extremely disturbed. They said she helps herself. Another said, we've been telling these people that we've been doing shit that we ain't been doing. Someone else said she's fucking up everyone's plan. They said that she's going to be looking at these people like who's not able to get her to see people the way they want her to see people. Another said we told them that we had her in Suma Hospital. And now they know she's not going to be going back to no hospital for nothing. Another said, so that is the type of shit that people were wondering was happening. That really doesn't make sense. Some of these statements, you'll have to discern. I told you before, they talk. It's demonic conversation. So sometimes it's said it's said opposite of the way it's intended. And it's done that way specifically for a couple of reasons, actually. One is for disinformation. You know, like there's a group that uses it, and you know they it's like coding. And another reason is they state it in a way so that when heard, you won't combat or be prompted to discern what it means. They said that she's not giving up none of this information to these other people. They know that I have a lot more I can say about the topic and won't. Someone else said this motherfucker is about to go viral. She's not doing none of the stuff that we said she was going to do. I told you, when they say go viral, it means that they're switching the imposters out. Either they're reprogramming or switching them out. Right now they're discussing how clean I am and how these people are going to realize that they're seeing something opposite of what they're being shown, which I doubt they'll be able to recall any of it, but they're claiming that they're going to see something opposite of what they're being shown. Because in person I look as clean as I am. He's yelling. He said we want this girl to tell them about what happened last night in the video that she made. Nope, you'll have to see the video. She said, oh, I cannot stand when she do this other stuff because she knows that they like when they know they like when she do stuff in this other place. They're regarding the clone and sex with it. They said we cannot stop sabotaging her ass because then we're not able to have sex with that motherfucker. That is the type of shit that made people realize she is who she says she is. They said my back was swollen up. They put their hands on the back of the clone, and it causes my back to tense up physically. Like it gets really bad and really, really tight, and it's extremely uncomfortable. I told you sometimes they squeeze on the back of his neck, and that puts me in a lot of pain as well. They said they got these men looking at me like, who thinks they're going to be telling people that they're cloning their females and that they're not supposed to have sex with them? They have a problem with me having a problem with them having sex with the clone. Because ever so often they allow me to feel it. But they are always on that thing. It's really bad. Like, sometimes the females are just like aggressive. Like they're always aggressive, and they're always aggressive because they're always watching what's taking place. They're always watching these men have sex with the clone, and they'll get mad about it. and attack me. And sometimes before they get real aggressive, they'll like let me see what they're watching. So whereas the senses are tweaked down where I can't tell that it's taking place, they'll tweak them up and allow me to feel it just a little bit. So that I know that's why they're about to go off. Their insult to me and calling me Beyonce, they said that Beyonce is looking at these motherfuckers like they're not going to be able to have sex with her ass. They said we want her people to stop watching her and losing their damn minds. They're talking about, those that are watching it. Definitely not YouTube or anywhere else. Like, no one's watching there. And my analytics prove it. My followers are fake. They are not real. And my conversation is too educated. For it to be confused with anything else. So what it is I'm working on the mayor's legal team complaint. And they were just talking about time and, them trying to waste my time. And the whole sleep deprivation thing, being to affect when I decide to when I get this complaint done. They're trying to get me prolong it, for lack of a better term. I started it on the 18th of December. It shouldn't have taken this long, but I ended up adding a lot more details than I initially planned to. But this 14-page complaint is much shorter than its 78-page predecessor. The 6 agencies that I addressed it to received it on the 12th of November 12th, 2019. Right now they're discussing how people are going to know that they are erasing these people's memories. They're going to know that they said these people are going to know that they're saying a lot of things. They're all talking at the same time. Like one said we're erasing their memories. One said we're reprogramming their minds. And then someone else says that they're keeping them from moving on it at all. The female agent said they're not ready to die. The male agent said, who you think just gonna be speedy about you killing them? He said, we know you gonna kill us. And imagine evils being concerned about dying. Like the same evils that have died as many people before. They've died as your relatives. They've died as my relatives. Like they die all the time and wake their asses up in the lab. Imagine them being concerned. Well, all the folks they murder. They said they know that we're trying to make people look at her like they are not. He said they know that we're trying to make people look at mitochondrial. They're calling me my strand of DNA in the hospital because she's able to look at people the same way. He said she wrote so many complaints that then we told they asked not to look at her like they're able to do something. Repeat what you said. He's yelling from a distance. He said we told them not to look at people that is able to do the same thing to them that they've been doing to other people, like they're supposed to help their ass.
She said that's that other shit. They saw me just think that that statement had manipulation in it, you know, and for them to capture something like that and allow someone to hear that would put them under the wrong impression. But it's recorded and it's going to be public. Imagine that, like, with all the folks I've contacted. I'm talking about a couple hundred churches, tons of media, like media, news media in multiple states. Politically, the entire city of Akron, the mayor's office, the mayor's legal team, or law office, the chief of police, you know, like, and no one's investigating matters that can be investigated. These things that I've stated are not only they're not only being done, but they can also be proven. So I have proof. I'm able to prove these things. They said she legally binding people, so now they're gonna know that our ass is messing with this girl for no reason. He said, I want your ass to tell them that I'm disrespecting you by calling you a girl. They said we disrespect her ass every day. And don't want nobody to look at her like she is who she says she is. They said that's the type of shit that make people ask, look at her like, who the fuck? Who the fuck is not able to be in the same headspace? They want me to have sex. And, yeah. They said we want your ass to tell their ass what's happening at the library when these men show up. And they want me to talk about what happened the day before yesterday. Occasionally, but it's rare, like the guys get aggressive about this sex thing. They said she gonna delete this whole video and it got so much in it that don't nobody want people to know what's happening. And they turned right around and tried to manipulate it. They said that I'm not allowing you to hear how I talk to them when I pause the camera. No, because I'm cussing their ass out. Right now they're talking about what they just saw me say about how lies become part of the truth. They're talking about what they did as my relatives that they weren't supposed to do, and that it made me mad. I was sitting here and I was thinking about how it pissed me off because the lie becomes part of the truth. I cannot tell the truth without telling what took place. And even though it's a lie, it has to be made visible. I have a problem with them embarrassing my people and acting in a way that they wouldn't act. Somebody said, you cannot believe how she's still gonna kill their ass and she know they got souls. He said you're easily manipulated into making people realize that these people are looking at you the wrong way. They said I'm able to look at cameras and tell people what's happening at these other places.
I'm able to look at cameras and tell people what's happening at these other places. Maybe that's an innuendo for how they're watching me in other locations through my camera. He said that's the type of shit that people have been thinking for so long that they're realizing it's happening. This is something that is often discussed. Like, there were even times, like many times, when they get mad where I didn't have my phone on me or near me, or when I turn it off, because a particular group of people wouldn't be able to view me without it being on. Let me tell you what they did. I haven't been to sleep. Or wait, hold on. I'm just waking up. They kept me up all night. They saw me getting ready to go to Walmart. And when they saw me getting ready to go to Walmart, they sedated me. So I just woke up. This is around 7:30, maybe almost 8 when that happened. And I was 9:40. Now look. This is 2 hours and 45 minutes, what I just did. This is to give you an example of how much happens in a day. And there's day, literally every day I go out, and I try not to have no reason to record. I try not to have any reason to record. So much happens in a day. And a lot of the times I don't catch the mundane. Like, a lot of things are so common and so regular that they've become mundane, like the stalking. So, I want to show you, I didn't analyze the encounter with Tia Brown, and I should, but I think you can figure out what's wrong with that picture. So, they removed the video from my phone. I had a short video. It was about 1.5 minutes, and it displayed all the content that was on the Mac computer. What the government does is, to inconvenience me, they occupy spaces that aren't normally occupied. The green room does not get any activity, and what they've been doing is they've been occupying it. I'm talking about, like, people were coming in and flooding it, whereas it have maybe 100 videos on it. You know, like, it had 12,000, and I recorded it to show that they hadn't been erasing the content. You know, they had gotten away from what they normally do because I wasn't coming. When I don't show up, they don't do things in the normal fashion. When I show up, they don't want anyone to come across my content, so they erase every Friday like they're supposed to, sometime sooner. So like I said, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. No one has deleted any of them. They got rid of that too. When I came in today, yes, here. This is the quick 7-minute video that I just uploaded a short while ago. Maybe 20, 30 minutes ago now. But I had a lot more I wanted to say about it, so I'm redoing it. So yeah, thousands and thousands of videos, they hadn't touched it. Today when I came in, all the videos were gone after he kind of forewarned and said they had no intention on doing it. He's under a different impression. Like, when they switch these people out, they get rid of anything that conflicts with what they've been told. They did the same thing with my brother's imposter recently. Like, somehow they connected him to the situation, the panhandling situation in Jackson Township. Somehow they connected him to that, and in order to, you know, get a believable lie, you know, make it seem as if I wouldn't be moving against that department, that police department. They got rid of everything. They violated, infiltrated my email and removed the complaint that I drafted. I started the complaint on the officer and drafted it. Luckily, I still have these videos and I can do it over at some point. but I hate double working. You should know that about me by now. So they got rid of the complaint, and they interfered with the video uploading, and they put him under a new suggestion. They put him under a new suggestion. In case y'all don't know the signs of the devil, like, let me show you. They're the ones that are always going. So yeah, as soon as it thought it wasn't happening, like thought that thing that I wasn't gonna be like combating and rebuking the situation with the police officer, that encounter, that harassment situation, you know, it changed its tone. That can be seen on Facebook. But anyhow, okay, so I don't know if I stated the date, but today is January 6, 2020. This initially took place. I'm trying to upload a video, or I came today to upload a video from December 30th, 2019. It was already composed. It was already uploading. It just never published. They interfered with it. And that video, like I said, was titled Panhandling. It was an hour and I said 52 minutes longer than the past, but today when I looked at it, it said an hour and 47 minutes. And what it does is it completely picks that situation apart, and it shows how evil these beings under suggestion are. It's a true reflection of what these areas are like. It's a true reflection of the nature of their spirit. You know, I told you in a previous video, it was in probably part 5 of Divine Disclosure, that I was going to show you. I was going to make some real good examples of how evil created races truly are. So anyhow, when I came on the 30th of December, my intent was to upload 4 videos, of which 3 were successful. The 4th one I told you was interfered with. So anyhow, around the same time that took place, I paused for a little while. So around the same time that took place, I was writing the mayor's complaint as well, a caveat to it. They have a 78-page predecessor, which is the one that was addressed to 6 agencies. The 6 agencies have had that complaint. Tomorrow will be 8 weeks. So like I said, I'm writing a caveat. It's a 14-page complaint that displays the bodily damage that has been done since then. Outside of that, I have other complaints I'm working on too, like for corporations, Walmart, Giant Eagle, Marks. My brother's imposter, I'm going to be writing his job because it can't seem to keep his fucking mouth closed. I get tired of them showing up and harassing me as him. That has to stop. They're trying to get me to kill him before it's time. But at any rate, that complaint that I'm talking about to the mayor's, did I say that it was to the mayor's legal team? It's addressed to the mayor's legal team. They're the ones who have that in hand. However, as is, I've legally binded the entire city of Akron, Ohio already. And this last one should prompt them to get the media involved. You can imagine the attacks have been plentiful, especially when it comes to sleep. They really, really, really get a kick out of interfering with my sleep. In the last 72 hours, I might have gotten 6 hours of sleep. Today, I got 1.5. I was up until probably 8 with torture and tormenting. I'm talking about like them just administering pain and threats, you know, like just talking, rehashing, like all kinds of things. And the only thing that made them sedate me was they saw me like pretty much making something out of the time, like occupying the time, using the time constructively, I suppose. So I was going to get up and go to Walmart, which was on my planner for tomorrow. I was going to get up and just go ahead and go today. As soon as they saw me doing that, they sedated me. And then they woke me up an hour and a half later.
They absolutely did not want me to make it to Walmart. The people at Walmart, these things at Walmart are under a different suggestion, and they are under a believable lie, and the lie is not exposed until I show up. The lie is not exposed until I show up. I don't normally forget where I left off, but they're jamming so many thoughts. There's so much that I want to say in this short video that I'm not able to even get to. The worst part about these small updates is they always try to, jack them up, remote neural monitoring. Like, it's always on 1,000 when I do one of these short videos. Whereas when I do the longer videos, it's always kind of thought of, they don't interfere as much with speech. But I was saying that I've legally binded the city. I'm able to kill someone and get away with it. I wouldn't even be in jail a day because I am who I say I am. I am Christ's mother. First and foremost, dominion belongs to me. And second, I can prove negligence. I can prove negligence and exactly how it's being done. The thing with these imposters is they know that nothing is getting out. They know when it comes to my videos, the internet censorship is in full effect. My analytics prove that no one's watching. My analytics prove that no one's watching, no one's sharing, no one's doing anything, and these imposters know that. And I don't have any encounters, but when someone like a relative shows up who has not showed up in a year, they know this. This is already in mind when they spit their verbal attacks that don't make sense. Everything that I've ever said can be proven. Everything that I've ever said makes sense. My content is not hard to follow. In most cases, I ABC your ass, especially when it comes to a complaint. I ABC the fuck out of people. Like, you cannot have no education and follow what I'm saying. But aside from internet censorship, like, they know that Operation Mockingbird is in full effect. So, until Operation Mockingbird is in full effect, which means in terms of the media, I can't reach them. You've seen, there's videos that are titled Politics, where I've reached out to them. They're all going to say they never got the email. You seen what happened with the mayor's office. They claimed they didn't get the email, and that's what they were all counting on. So unless I'm calling and her, and just on them, which I don't have the resources for, they'll ban. Scratch all that other stuff. They will ban. They are going to ban. So for those of you that are counting on the government to handle this situation, to handle me, you got another thing coming, because I'm going to tie your motherfucking God in a knot. Okay, so on the way back to the green room, he was asking me, he said, first of all, he said, well, we have an appointment at 2. I said, well, what time is it? He said, it's 1:30. I said, well, I just need to upload a video. He said, oh, do you have something saved on the computer? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay. He was like, well, just so you know, he said, I have no intention on doing it anytime soon, and we haven't been doing it lately, but you should probably save your work on a hard drive or something, because we erase it every Friday. Like, he knows I'm well aware of their protocol and their mandates, those things they are obligated to do, which is why I made a video recently about that.
When I came in, I asked for the green room, you know, whether or not it was occupied. I think I told you already, they have officers at the main library now. But I came to see if it was occupied. I was going to attempt to upload a video from December 30th. It's titled Panhandling, in which, hold on. Hey, can I reserve the green room for the 10th? Nope, the 9th.
Yes. What time?
Is it available all day?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go with 4 to 7. Or 3 to 7.
Okay. And contact phone number?
801-520-1125.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, so the intent of this video is to discuss the activity here at the library. You know how the coverts here inconvenience in a way that it doesn't appear that they're doing anything at first glance. Okay, so you can't see me. So what they've been doing lately, it's mostly been black men. But what they've been doing lately is they've been making sure that I see their 30-day tags. I've had them wait. Sometimes they wait in the middle of the street till I get close enough to ID the tags. And other times they'll wait at a corner, like until I get close enough for them to turn and like show and make their 30-day tags visible. You know, like they create enough distance where you can just see the orange and white, then black print. And of course, those surveilling often comment about how, oh, you think we just mocking you in your neighborhood. Like, these men be trying to mock you everywhere you go. So yeah, when I leave, when I get out, I told you they're well calculated. Just, But something new that took place is a guy I was walking, and from about where I am right here, let me get closer. And right now they're talking about how good my vagina is and that it's making me mad. So from right here where I am at this building to the end of that building is probably the distance between us, and I'm in motion walking in the opposite direction. I never turned around, so I don't know what the vehicle was like, what he looked like, or nothing. But anyhow, someone blows their horn, and as usual, I don't respond to that. So he blows a couple more times, and then he yells. He gets mad because I didn't turn around, and he yells. And it's like, hey, oh. It sounded like oh, but oh would imply that he knew me, so he had to be saying ho. But he didn't come my way. He didn't come my way because he knows I beat his ass. Now they're talking about how expensive I am.
Your personal
And of
safety.
course,
Please do not
when
cross in
something
front
like
of
that
the bus.
happens, I told you with their future predictive technology, like they run test scenarios, so they already know what the outcome is going to be if they were to approach me. And then they were flashing the images of like what. Sometimes they flash them, and other times I can see them watching what's happening, and they saw me snapping his fucking neck. So anyhow, whereas my relatives would be like, you damn right, that's Christ's mother. She's lived that way her entire life, and she's always, you know what I'm saying, like, there's no way any of my relatives would not confirm. And if we ever all had to sit down at the table, that'd be clear. The demons can't even deny it. So anyhow, when they show up, it's those that are the demons, the government agents that are using the bodies, you know, and they're like, yeah, like, come on, like, they'll make a mockery and everything, but like trying to get me to like join, like, get with the devil's program. They're trying to get me to get with the devil's program. Like, they're watching me suffer, they're watching me walk, they're watching me not have any money, they're watching me be attacked and tortured and tormented, they're watching all this, and they show up and make a mockery of it. They show up and make a mockery publicly. via social media or, you know, a voicemail after they've been absent for years. And things my folks would never do. And then once that's done and they see how I handle it, you know, they attack me remotely again about it. And they argue amongst one another about how I'm never going to look at them like they are who they say they are. Because they aren't. You took something that was nothing and tried to turn it into something. And you did that by attacking me. And the only way that they can stay that way is by attacking me. I ain't having that shit. I am not having that shit. It's like we switched roles. They gave me their lifestyle and tried to give them mine. Like divvy up bits and pieces. Same thing they're doing as far as celebrities. But now they're doing it with my family. Because the time has come. If you don't know, you better get in tune with what time it is. And they're still sabotaging me as a neighbor. That's the reason a lot of these fucking robots are acting dumb as it is. When I came home, there was a cigarette butt right in front of my step. Like, they ain't got no business back here. Smoking in front of my step and shit. So I put it on top of the car. I don't know if you can see it from here. But if I catch them, I'm gonna lay in. Now they're talking about how my parents imposters don't give a fuck about me. They said her parents don't give, they said they know her parents don't give a fuck about her because they went into the VA on some straight sabotage her character stuff, not know we want to help her and care about her stuff. She had the nerve to come sit by me. And unconscious mind. He said she's about to make them realize that Africans are ignoring what's going on. This is the agent. Watch this. Excuse me. Is your name Tia? Is your name Tia Brown? I sent you an inbox on the 28th of December. What? Yeah, I sat down on the computer accidentally that you were on, and I sent you a message. I forwarded it to you on your Facebook. Okay. It's called it's a complaint about government agencies.
I think I remember that.
You do? Did you happen to read it?
Honestly, I just thought it was, you know. Oh, is that something you're interested in? That's something you're interested in?
Yeah, well, it's about me. My, so when you saw my profile picture, you saw it said I'm Crisis Mother, right?
You're whose mom?
Crisis Mother.
Okay.
And, that's a matter of DNA and design. I'm being attacked by government agencies, as you'd expect. You know, they want to maintain dominion over law in the land.
So that complaint, it goes into great detail, and are you a believer?
Yes.
I thought it might spark your interest.
Okay. Well, you just welcome to send it again. I'll take a deeper look at it.
Okay, you don't have it anymore? Did you receive it?
What's your name on here?
Victoria, better known as Tequila Oliver.
Well, I haven't blocked him, so it just, I haven't got him. And out of all the blocks, I didn't block him.
Oh, okay.
It should come as a request.
Mm-hmm. Those are Raylan told her that it's not Jesus Christ's mother, but really Christ's mother. When they tell them that I'm not gonna have Jesus, you know, the disgrace, the idea of a perfect mix of good and evil, you know, they panic a little bit and they leave. So anyhow, she found out that I am who I am, and she left. She asked me on her way out, she said, do you have a phone that I can use? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. This one doesn't have service. I wouldn't dare waste my minutes on that, because when it comes to evil, they don't waste their time on me. This is a perfect example of how it's going to be moving forward. Like, I know who you are. You know, no matter how you try to play it, I know who you are. And, yeah, I won't give you the time of day. There's no saving you. People like you, people who don't stand for anything, and you claim you believe, you know, the title alone, and my profile picture and the title alone, you know, those two things go hand in hand. Ideally, the government would be attacking me, Christ's mother. So those people that don't stand for anything and act like they can't read, it ain't no saving them. There's no helping them. He'd been staying away and he started showing back up. The door that just pulled up. I told you I don't talk to these people, and I told you about them being in front of my porch when I'm not around. They're not doing it right now. I've been here for a few moments, making sure and, you know, kind of checking or whatever, and they're just kind of playing it cool. But what I wanted to say is, I won't speak to them unless I'm spoken to, like. And most of the time, that gets the job done. Like last night when I came in, he was outside. They, you know, like, tried to make it a run-in, but couldn't. And today, like I said, she just got out, and they're having a cigarette right now. So you're going to get to see me walk through. But I wanted to say something. I caught a little bit of the conversation. He stopped talking about it because I'm able to hear. And he knew I was about to make a video. So he stopped talking because then you'd be able to pick up on it. But he's having the same conversation with her daughter that he normally have with me up until about 6 months ago when I changed that. So he's telling her how he's doing his dish chores. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm always cleaning. And, you know, but he's not telling her because her fucking mom doesn't do anything. Because when he delivers the message to me, he's like, yeah, she's a fucking pig. She doesn't do anything. She stays on the toilet. She does this. She does that. She's nasty. But he's not telling her daughter that part. But even if he were to, she wouldn't be surprised because her daughter is the same. And her mom has kind of bust out, you know, her guy and his nasty habits before. And yeah, it's just some nasty shit going on. And this is the type of shit they're trying to, like, make a part of my experience. I'm not having that. Watch this. They split. They were like in the middle of acting like they were talking. And let me tell you, when like both parties know who they are, those are two agents. They know who they are, you know, like, so they play off of one another, and when they do something odd, no one thinks anything of it. So they were both, as soon as I began recording and talking, they both stopped and they were listening. And when I came out the door, she tried to act like she was in the middle of a conversation. However, she didn't complete her sentence, and they quickly parted ways. I would have asked Team Official, are they hiring? He'd probably say no, they got to program you to do this sort of job. He ain't got no experience. People that grow up, men like that, grow up a particular kind of way, and they're intended to be used a particular kind of way. They don't gain skills. They're programmed with them eventually. Once they're separated from family, they're programmed. They're given a completely new identity. So I'm headed to Family Dollar right now, the one on Grant Street. I haven't been here in about 7 months. I think, if I recall correctly, the last time I came here, it was like July, August time frame. And they have been trying to like force me to go there many times in between. The guy, black guy that I told you yesterday, he wouldn't come out the house when he read the complaint that I gave him to hold on to for a couple of days. His cousin works at this Family Dollar.
his cousin works here. His cousin is always like really friendly. He asked me for my number one time and I told him no. And then he asked me, you know, our conversation is always really basic, like, hey, how you doing? Doing okay? I've been hanging in there. And he's like, I've been looking for work. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And he's like, yeah, I got an interview such and such, and you know, that sort of thing. But you know, that takes time to unfold. Other than that, it was just like a few lines. So anyhow, he ends up getting a job at the hotel downtown, right around the same time as they rejected me for the job at the Oriana House. So they were taunting me. Those surveillance were taunting me about how they're using my energy. Same thing with those in the neighborhood. How they're using my energy in other places. And they're getting people to show them favor by rejecting me. So anyhow, one of the last times I was there. Matter of fact, it was the last time I saw him. No, I seen him once after that. He asked me, he got to a point where he started being extremely friendly. And like he run from behind the register. This is also the guy that I talked about in Divine Disclosure that got me the rag. I was on my way to the main library and it was really high, and I asked him if they had like some wash rags in the bag, you know, that had came out of their package, you know, stuff that they see as, you know the word I'm looking for, they're blocking it. You see how it's crazy. You know, when you're delivering a message to many, it's best that you use more than one word because, you know, something will resonate with one like that doesn't resonate with another. For example, it's like saying food that's gone bad instead of saying perishables. So anyhow, the second before last time that I saw him, I told you he's getting friendly, and like he always asks for a hug now. He'll come up like with his arms out and want a hug. That happened on probably 3 occasions, which was like 3 times too many for me. So, and you know, when something like this captured, it just further solidifies the lie that they're telling and trying to bring into fruition. So, but he's kind of slow. But you know now that's the devil. So, anyhow, he asked me for my number again. And this time I say yes, but I say yes because I'm telling him about gang stalking. And I'm telling him about me being attacked by the government. And, you know, me wanting him to read into some information. So I say yeah, and I give him my number because I intend on forwarding the information to him. So the same thing they did with the other guy, like the guy at the corner store. They ended up not calling as him. They ended up not calling. Like they switched him out. And, you know, like that last time that I saw him, he made mention of having a number. He's like, but I don't got service yet, and I'm working 2 jobs. And, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, the devil will always play stupid with you. You gotta start calling the devil out on this shit. So, because they haven't seen me in 6-7 months, it's him and the twin. The manager is a twin. And that's the one that I gave a plate, like, on 2 occasions. And he's even come by my place. Like, but not by my place, like, sit outside. I've talked about that in old videos. No one, you know, I don't do none of that. So, anyhow, I started avoiding him because they make him real horny when he was around me, you know, like, he always, like, be real calm and mild mannered, but he always let me know, like, he's available, like, if I want to. And I'd have told him I'm Bryce's mother. So, anyhow, I wasn't avoiding this Family Dollar. I just go where I need to go. And they were taking advantage of that. And I told you, they put people under a lot of different suggestions. So as they're capturing my activity, they're manipulating reality. So no one's seeing what's actually taking place. You know, no one's seeing that my activity is the same every day. They're seeing those things that they're creating with parallel reality. And, you know, the things that are being created with parallel reality is a lie that's created by about the identities that they're putting where I am. So all the people that they're sending to the library, you know, those are they're using them to make up lies, and they're using those lies to show these people under suggestion, to show these other people under suggestion, to get them to act and behave in a certain way. And I told you they have no way of knowing the truth until I show up. So I'm here now, and it'll be interesting to see. They had got a new manager too around the time that I stopped coming here, and I didn't like that he was ordering things differently. He was ordering opposite anything that I did, anything that I came for, he wasn't ordering no more, and anything that I didn't come for, he was ordering. Also, they've broken my partial since they last saw me, so the female's here, and they've done stuff with her before, but you know, it's nothing like the things that they do with the guys. So there's really no need for me to keep recording. Does Demir and Brandon still work here?
Demir?
Mm-hmm. What about Brandon?
Never
No.
met him.
You know Brandon, right? He still work here?
I think he's still in the school, but I haven't seen him.
Oh, okay. What I didn't get to capture, and it's kind of too late, two guys came in. One guy, he was in front of me. I saw him when I was approaching look at me out the side of his eye. One was, while I was approaching, he looked at me out the side of his eye. But I was like, okay, he's in front of me though, so he'll be gone. You know, that shouldn't be a problem. Don't you know he turned right around and got back in line behind me? He acted like he was going in the freezer for something, then he got in line behind me. And I told you what they do when I'm at the store. You've seen what they do by now when I'm at a store. They're claiming that both of those guys showed up that I asked about. They showed up, and you know, those agents showed up on a different identity to see. They didn't believe it. So the one guy came in that I just showed you walking across the street, and he dapped the other guy up. He showed up. He didn't get nothing. He wouldn't look at me. But I always know when they're there to you know, just catch a glimpse of me. He didn't say nothing. He didn't get nothing. He turned around and he went back out. When I came out, one went that way and the other went that way. They were both on foot. And I'll warn you of this too. Sometimes they park away from the building because they know how I am. They know that I'm aware and I'm paying attention to everything that goes on around me. They know I get your license plate number in a quick second. Like, so he might have, that one that went the other way, I'm sure he's driving. He just parked somewhere else. I guarantee you I'm going to wake up with red spots all over me because they're going to be getting off me. That thing down there, it just came from behind the building over here. When I was about by the H&H sign, I heard it coming out the cut. And I turned and I looked back. It was proceeding coming this way, like in the same direction. And then they instructed it to come over and walk in the same path that I walked in the opposite direction. And that's what it did. It crossed the street, turned around, and started going the opposite way. Okay, so let me tell you about him. When that situation back there took place, he was like way ahead of me. He was way ahead of me. And a bus passed us. And the bus passed us. Now he's acting like he was catching on a bus. Just a short while back, he stopped. And then he found this other guy over here to start talking with. But he keeps looking at me. He's trying to cross paths with me. They just, it's weird how they'll be like, how they'll be on autopilot until they feel the need to use them. Like, out of nowhere, I just watched this guy's behavior change. And you see, he said he was going to take the scenic route, but he's still hanging around, waiting on me. And so this elder is finally starting to go on about his way.
You got a fear of me. Yeah, man. I grew up here. I had 36 them chase me coming down.
The female agent said I had to take my hand off his ass because she be looking at how people just be walking and pretty much saying I be capturing it from start to finish. This is common. These two come in. This is them. These are agents. I'll get a close-up of them. This is really, really common activity for them. So while I recorded them, the other two over there, they stopped. And they were just staring, watching me. And as soon as I started moving, they started moving. So for those of you that are wondering, you know, is there a mere possibility? Only a dummy would wonder this. So yeah, I'm calling you out. Y'all stupid. You're an example of the devil. So the devil would say something like, well, did you ever, for a mere moment, think that maybe it's your activity, you know, that's kind of suspect, and the reason that they stopped and watched you, they'll completely disregard everything that they've seen before and look for something in my behavior that's odd. To them, it looks like I'm on the phone. To them, it looks like I stopped and started using the phone. Dummy. Suppose you don't think this is odd either. The same two guys. You don't think that's odd? Oh, they're still watching me. I had to cut across the damn yard. And they crossed back across the street. They're on the other side. They went to EZ. They went to the corner store. You don't think that's odd? You don't think that's stalking? That's not weird to you. An example of memory removal. I've wrote enough complaints about officers that I should, that I'm well familiar with those things that fall into the category of misconduct. In fact, I can probably name just about every single one. However, those things are being blocked or have been erased from my memory, so I'm unable to recall them as I start on this complaint. I find myself researching these topics that I already know again. Okay, I just got shot in the back of my head. Right here. I don't know any changes. I just got a shot in my head. Right here. I don't know any changes. It's January 7th. 8 p.m. 8:04. Hey, it's January 7th. I haven't had sleep. And that's following a night of doing laundry in the tub. And that took me about 2.5, 3 hours. Anyhow, I want to show you what happens when they're trying to change my identity. My arm swells up. I can feel them injecting the, whatever it is, into my arm. And then it swells. I wonder if you can see that well. It's kind of like a, yeah, you can kind of see it. And that's taking place on both arms. Over here, I think you can see it a little better. So I'm headed to Walmart. Like I said, it's 6:20. Oh my goodness, my hair. 6:20 something a.m. I'm catching the next bus. I think it comes at like 7:11 or something. And yeah, I'm going to steal more SD cards and like little supplies I need, like bubble bath and what else? I need shoes. You know, all my shoes got holes in them, but I don't know if I'm going to get those this morning. And yeah, just miscellaneous stuff, like, but all things that I need. You know, I never steal for what I want. And that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed, even though I've binded the entire city. That has not changed. It's not like, you know, normally the devil in my position would be doing the most outlandish things. I'm talking about like walking out the store with a whole cart of items to sell. So anyhow, yeah, they're lying about who I am this morning, and it's because of the bad suggestions that they put them under regarding me, or the other identity that they were using of me. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but like I've been wearing my hair up in a ponytail like pretty much ever since I put this style in December 7th, 8th. Ever since I did my hair this way, I've been wearing it up in a ponytail. I haven't worn it down once. So they've been suggesting, of course, that I'm someone else. And that hasn't stopped them from using this hairstyle for multiple IDs. Okay, so something that they've been doing, or not been doing. I'm so tired. Anyhow, what they did was I had noodles, a bowl of noodles. And they were a common bowl of noodles that I used to have while I was hungry, while I was homeless. And I hadn't had this particular bowl of noodles since 2018. So over a year ago was the last time I had this bowl of noodles. I had food on top of it. I had like chocolate cake. I had something else, like some plantains and stuff like that. Don't you know that they rearranged the order of which I had it, and like we're bringing the noodles back up so that they be the first thing that you see? Right now they're talking about how that is the type of stuff that I've made it okay to say, because I've explained so many details surrounding it that I'm able to reveal these types of things. But anyhow, they did that. And I also had, days ago they said Michael Kors isn't going to be looking at any of these other people like something. Michael Kors isn't going to be looking at any of these other people like Michael Kors isn't going to be looking at these other people like something. And you know, I didn't think anything of it. I recalled it because I've been up all night, and I was going to wear perfume today. I haven't been wearing perfume. I haven't been wearing it because I really don't have anything that I like, and I'm trying to hold on to what I do like. And so I put some on. You know, it's like a catch-22. It's like either way, they fucking win ordeal. You know, this information is horrible because sometimes they'll say the wrong name to try to steer me to avoiding it. And that was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, well, I'm going to wear Dior instead. And then I was like, no, this is a common technique that y'all attempt to use. And so I just went with what I wanted. But that's also associated with 2018's events. Like, I haven't wore that perfume. I wore it early 2019, like January, maybe February. February is pushing it, but I hadn't worn it since then. So yeah, those noodles and this perfume, they are claiming put me in a different category. They're saying she's in a whole nother category. We put you in these other places. You're in another category, this, that, any other. And meanwhile, I'm the same person that I was yesterday, the same person I've been my entire life. My hand is full too. I want to show you. Not this one. This one. I just have to show you what normal look like first. So right up here in this area, right in there, and this fatty part here. Make sure you can see the vein is kind of protruding. Okay, first I want to state the intention of this video. It's 6:59 and the bus was supposed to come at 6:59. It came 4 minutes early, and I was out here and I tried to wave it down because I was still walking to the bus stop, like probably a yard and a half from it. I tried to wave it down and he looked at me, he sped up, and then he acted like he was slowing down at the stop and kept going. Something else that I wanted to note was that Easy, the corner store right here, you can't see it for some reason. There's a glare. But they've been opening up earlier. They've been opening up earlier. About 30-40 minutes earlier than they normally do. Most of their, oh my goodness, they're jamming my thoughts. I was going to say that most of their clientele is African American. And, you know, I watch and observe them when I used to go there. And that's been months ago. I don't go there anymore at all for anything. For a short period there, I would go once every 2 months for a money order. But I don't go at all. The guy that's part owner, he comes over here to this female's house that stays next door. I suppose they've probably been knowing each other a long time. And but anyhow, I was going to say the way that they treat their African American clientele, I observed that, and you know, it's always kind of with a frown or something snippy, you know, smart remarks that they refer to as shooting the shit. But when they see an African female, you know, they're jamming my thoughts. You get what I'm about to say. So I'm on the bus with a full of government agents. Let's see. That one right there, I've talked about before in another video. That's the female that I was at Terry House with. So this is January 7th, 2020. But us being on this bus together represents a different time. So they're once again acting like these are 2018 events when they're not. And I told you the last time she saw me, she didn't want to speak really, and I kind of engaged.
And now I would never. So now she's playing crazy. Walmart.
Go go have some breakfast. No? Okay. I was gonna pay for it if you wanted to go have breakfast.
No, that's all right. I'm all right.
Sure?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, she was playing crazy. She came back here and she called me someone else. And I looked up at her and she said, "Oh, I thought you were somebody I knew." And I just shook my head and put it back down. And she said, then she sat there for a moment, you know, after she'd looked me right in my face. And then she's like, "Victoria." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You heard the rest." So that's how I was. And she said, "You have a good day." And I threw my hand up like this. Like, she said, "Happy New Year." I told you the last time she saw me, she won't speak. Before that took place, the female agents tried it. They started to try and antagonize me. And I told them, I said, "No, like, either y'all gonna shut the fuck up or y'all gonna get your ass whipped. Like, make your mind up now." And so they shut up. And then she pulled that stunt. That, "Have a good day, Happy New Year," when you know I'm mad as fuck. So I'm at Walmart now. And although it's pretty empty here, like, I can feel them doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. Right now they're talking about how someone's doing something at this location that they're not supposed to be doing. I told you they hired the young guy across the street from me. And then this thing shows up. Right now they're talking about how I've been looking at these other employees the same way that I look at the manager that you saw. They have just did a nasty number on my body. Like my thighs. Like all this wiggle shit. So there she is again. I cannot seem to get it to. They said they're going to tell these people that they aren't able to intimidate her ass, implying that she was going to tell someone that. So a light just flashed at the corner of my eye, and they claim that they took a picture. We're about to find out. And so a guy just came up front too. Like, he thought I was headed towards self-checkout. I think he was planning on meeting me at the door. So I hit it right there. And another guy came. A whole bunch. Okay, so get the two $10 money orders. Okay. Right.
That they had to wait while he was bringing people up. That's what I think.
Oh, really?
I'm not for sure if that was it. Got people already.
I do.
They get it.
Yeah, they do. Right now they're talking about how I did something that no one else does. In terms of...
We ain't even know. DoorDashers are checking wants to just buy like a meal or something.
Yeah.
I ain't even allowed to do that.
No way.
But I can't do that.
When they come down and crack down on that?
Oh, it's been about 3 months now. Yeah.
They've made a lot of changes recently. Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Now we
Even if the employees want to bring their lunch up over here?
ain't allowed to.
Wow.
No. There you go. You have a nice day.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, now I'm headed back down here where the roadblock was. So, we'll see. She said we told them that she wasn't able to look at them like she wasn't about to kick their ass. Okay, and they inserted these like after I noted that this location didn't have them. And the door check lady is on the phone, probably with security. We're gonna see what happens. So they had them show up front without having a way of knowing, like they weren't watching the camera or anything. They just kind of had them show up, or they just showed up as them up front. So what I did was, it's only a crime if you get caught leaving the store with it. So I had something in store for them, and I was still going to make a scene and have them call APD. So they called them off. Like, who do you know that's able to do that? And I told you where I hid it. I showed you where I hid it. I'm going to come back and get it in a little bit. As far as them knowing where it's at, they don't know where it's at. The government knows, like they're watching, they could tell them and they go and, but they don't have a way of knowing that. You get what I'm saying? Like no one knows that it's there. So of course, for the last 10 or 15 minutes or so, they've been talking about what took place. And what they did was they told him that I was going to walk out with a buggy and not pay for anything. So that's why he approached the front in the first place. When he came, I was near the door, like by the salad. And I just so happened to feel the encounter, so I turned. I wasn't going towards the door. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to pay for the food and steal the SD card. So I turned, and as soon as I turned, he turns into like the self-checkout area and tried to make small talk with the cashier that was standing there. And they said after that they malfunctioned them, and they were looking at them like, who's able to make, they just gave me a fat injection in my leg, who's able to make them attack them, like pretty much distract them from everything that just took place. The female that I showed you, she tried to stay kind of close and near. I told you sometimes they do that to pretend that something took place that didn't. And I told you on the way out, like, they always all get in on it. Like the door checker, she's on the phone with a guy. I mean, she's not with a guy. I didn't mean to say that. She's on the phone. They meant to say that. She's on the phone, and she keeps like kind of eyeing me, like while she's on the phone. They try to make you think they're having a discussion about you. As I passed by, she was saying, like she really wasn't worried about it, and it had nothing to do with me. And I didn't even need to hear that much to know that. But somebody's screaming, like she's been screaming for a long time. Them demons, when they start screaming and stuff. Last night they said they were going to snow me in. Like, back there, as you saw, like, it's clear. Dang, I think this was supposed to prompt me to talk about HAARP and how they're controlling the weather, but I can't access all the thoughts surrounding it. And it's important that I word it a particular way so that you understand exactly what they're doing. In fact, I'm sure I already covered it somewhere else. I talk about it in a couple of videos, but I also talk about it on Facebook, Red.
bitch just said, I gotta put these fat injections back in these other people. Her, the cashier, her hair has grown out, but as you saw, she's bigger. When I don't know if you saw when I passed her, but she left her post on purpose to run across me in the back near the electronics department. There was so much other stuff, but I'm a little distracted by the snow too. Because that's gonna slow me down. I had like 3 other places to run to today. Anyhow, there was so much more I wanted to say, but they're jamming my thoughts real bad. The last thing I'm gonna say about it is, it's imperative that you understand these robots act without having any reason. They act without having any reason. They told him and he showed up. Like, it had nothing to do with the SD card at all. Like, me cutting it, I had to cut it off the thing. Me cutting it was enough reason. But they didn't look at anything. They didn't see anything. They just showed up. I told you ever so often they show up to act like they're investigating the situation. So they'll show up as someone like this. Can you see like a little Asian woman? And they're sitting here and they're talking about her. They said these other people be looking like, who in the hell is acting like bus drivers is in this other I forget what they call it. They were pretty much saying that now these people know that they're lying about the bus drivers. They're saying that the stuff that they've been seeing regarding me and the activity with the bus drivers is false. Like, now these people know that it's false. They also said they're about to make the bus late as ever. They said they're going to hold it up so that people will think that something happened to me. They said, you see what he did to get him to not look into that other stuff. Oh, okay, so this is what I think it is. I think that's what they're talking about, looking into surveillance. They've been probing away. This is like a lot of minutes later. It's 9:19. The bus came at 8:59, and I was at the bus stop for about 10-12 minutes. So they probe in order to see if there's a way to mistreat. And once I combat it, that's the end. Like, yeah. Once I combat it, that's the end. I'm trying to think. One of the reasons that they make sure I don't get any sleep is so they have a better chance at pulling off a facial expression that they're oh my goodness, these fucking things are still here. They're still here. But so they have a better chance of pulling off the facial expression. And they don't. Like, if you get to see reality versus what they're able to manifest off of a small, like this, like off of something like this. I'm obviously probably, they can turn it into something else. This young kid I've been waiting to catch for a while. So shortly after I get home, I've been here about, I don't know, 5 minutes. They had a highway state trooper ride through, but not down this street, that street over
there. And he went up Cole Avenue. Blocking my my text message. I'm texting Metro to see what time the next bus comes. And as you can see, they're not letting it go through. And they're repeating 0 to 100 real quick, 0 to 100 real quick, 0 to 100 real quick, 0 to 100 real quick. It's kind of like a curse. And I don't know if they're informing him or trying to affect the way that I react. Because right now, they know something bad could happen when I go back to Walmart. Yes. Yes, can I have the records department? City Hospital. Oh wait, a real quick question for you. Yes, hi Sarah. I just called. I have a quick question for you. Do the two departments, the Summa Hospital and St. Thomas, keep their medical records separate, or are they kept at the same place? They're all through Akron City. Okay, thanks. Okay, so the problem, I mean, it's really not a problem. I requested my records before this whole ordeal took place, with them sabotaging and stuff, like, so I have, you know, I don't have a medical record really, like, but I want this, I should have asked about it being confidential. I want to go back. Okay, so that's the second time that's happened today. Like, I was here, I waved at the bus and everything, and it stopped and slowed down like it was going to stop, and then took off. It just took off. They're talking about how they malfunctioned him. They said that they're fucking these men's head up. Oh, let me go the other way. They said that they're messing their heads up, and that they don't, when I'm mad, they don't want me being on the bus because they apply that emotional frequency to them. I told you they talk a lot about trying to keep people in the same emotional vibration or vibrational frequency as me, and when realistically no one can reach it, you know. So that's what happened when I left this morning, and that happened. I was mad. They told that driver it act like it was going to stop for me. Like, stop just a few feet ahead of me and hurry up and hit the gas and took off.
They said I be demonstrating shit that don't nobody want me to demonstrate. They swole my hand too. My hand is swollen. And they knew that I was going to upload this video as soon as I got on the bus. When I hit this corner right here, the last thing I was saying was, I was thinking to myself, they said they hate when I get in this mode, or they hate when they hate something. And I said, y'all hate when I cover myself so that if I do damage, I'm good. This is unreal. And right now they're talking about how they want me to catch this other bus, and they know I'm not going to come back out tonight. That's 2 buses. Matter of fact, 3 technically. I've been trying to leave since 5:30. It's 7:17. Right now they're discussing how I pay attention to behavior so that I know it's the same agent from earlier that did that. They said it represents him running with my energy. And before I left out, they drained my energy. Like, I had to fight to get out the house. They drained literally everything. Right now they're talking about how I'm gonna be mad. They said they hit the record button when I hit pause, and it captured the dried up water from the clothes that I washed last night on my steps. There's my little pan all the time that I don't use. Now, since I've decided to go back, they're putting the imposters under a suggestion. They're telling them a couple of the things they said. They said she's so easily. They said he, meaning she. He's so easily influenced. They're blocking it. They don't want me to be able to tell what they said. So easily influenced, and they said something about. They're saying the most insultful things, like these. I'm talking about the insult. Now they're bragging about how they're blocking it and they're waiting on me to stop the recording. They know she's manipulating reality. And that actually means that I know I told you they refer to me as they. Plural. They know she's not who she says she is. And then right after that, they'll state one in plain English. They said she gonna go into this place tomorrow and not tell on nobody. I have the green room reserved for tomorrow, and this will be one of the videos I upload. We can't let them know she's able to go and steal what she wants. We putting all these people back in the vibrational frequency they were in. I told you when I show up, like, they change the dimension that they're in. So they'll use something like me not returning to support a lie and revert them back to the vibrational frequency they were in, where they act like they're someone they're not. You know, like act like they're better than they are. Or have a feel-good energy. And the whole act like they are who they say they are is, I told you they're posing as these females, and it's about the identities that they're using to sabotage and serve as a roadblock. So they all want to place claim on that. They want to claim that they're the reason why. They said we're tired of her talking about shit that people can't relate to. Another says she told them that targeted individuals was a disinformation campaign. They often talk about, like, the agents will go off because they all own people that they're that they all have people that identify as targeted individuals. You know, they all have an outfit with that title, you know. So they were mad when they found out I wasn't accepting it. And you know how that goes. Multiple agents, like I'm talking about, lots and lots of them would show up and attack because of that. You can always tell when the females become them, or when
the body has been given to a particular group of agents because they do the same thing everywhere, you know. So that would be, okay, on a small scale, white females with implants, plastic surgery. On a medium scale, black females with lashes and 30, 40-inch weaves. And on a large scale, men of all races or in all races with beards. The stylish ones. So when they get, I told you before, when they get these people, they reprogram them and their behavior changes. I told you I've seen women that don't get their hair done, you know, suddenly start getting their hair done because they feel like it's a luxury that Christ's mother can afford. You know, all the little things that, you know, anything that they've seen me do that I can't do, that's kind of what they're doing. Something else, like, I was going to go to sleep. So if I get in here, I can't fall asleep. As you can see, I'm clearly tired. I'm exhausted. If I get in here and I can't fall asleep, then I'll get up and probably attempt to catch the next bus. You know that's the one they wanted me to catch. I don't know which bus driver they're trying to get me, but I don't hold conversations with none. I don't have any encounters. And something like this would be done so that, you know, a bus driver that they're lying about, you know, wouldn't come across me. You know, that we wouldn't cross paths, and they wouldn't have to risk it being captured that I don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that they're not able to speak to me. So right now, they're showing clips from like July, and it's January. So they're showing clips from July of a bus driver that just out of nowhere kind of took a likeness and wanted to always speak. And, you know, say a couple of things when he saw me. And when I shut that down, you know, like, they reverted to using them old clips. And what they do is they try to keep him from running across me so that nothing new is captured and no one looks into it and realizes that, you know, the energy that it's stealing was built on a lie. Another thing, Walmart, shift change. You know, like, they're trying to get those females out of there. They're trying to get the male cops will be there all night. The surveillance guy from this morning and this afternoon is gone. But they're trying to get those females out of there. Okay, it's 8:05. It's been around 7:45, so it's been 20 minutes. I was trying to sleep. They were attacking my neck and back badly. And I told you they body hop. Well, what they said. I'm going to tell you what they said. They said, these people are going to know we be doing exactly what she said. They're going to know that we be hopping in and out of people's bodies. And then they said they were referring to whoever showed up downstairs on the monsters in the apartment downstairs. They said they want her screaming at the top of her lungs because they're mad. And they want us to make her as mad as they are. So anyhow, I got kind of loud. And that's what brought this other conversation about, you know, them talking about how loud and how bad they wanted it to get. Now, if I go downstairs, you see what I'm saying? It's about to be all bad for these fucking people. You know, I don't even slam doors. That's like just not part of my forte. But I'll slam them to aggravate them. Like, I'll slam them until I get a response. Till I get a reason to show up downstairs. Okay, real quick, the influence thing. They just yelled. They said they're going to know that we weren't supposed to be doing any of the stuff that we've been doing because we're not able to influence her. Yesterday, they were talking about, oh, well, let me start with today. I called Summa City Hospital, and I called whether or not to see whether their records were kept together or separate, like, you know, physical health versus mental health. And
they called. They kept saying she was going to be making appointments. I'm talking about a week ago. This goes back to that future predicting technology thing. Future predicting technology thing. Goes back weeks ago. This is like after my brother, the imposter, reached out. They told him that he wasn't going to be able to do something if he didn't attack me. And I told you, when he attacked me, they got rid of everything that I was working on as far as the Jackson Township. He lives in Canton, Ohio. Jackson Township is in Canton, Ohio. Jackson Township is in Canton, Ohio. You see how they make you give people attention that you don't even mention? I never mention this thing. It's like speaking a billion words and you have to find the 8 times I mentioned it. By the time you find one, you realize like it's irrelevant. Like it's not even worth it. So anyhow, Jackson Township is in Canton, Ohio. The officer stopped me there during panhandling. They tried to make it seem like he was able to influence that situation. But what they did was they lied. They erased, they infiltrated my email and removed the complaint that I drafted. And then they interfered with the video upload. So the full video was like an hour or 42 minutes or something. They interfered with that upload and they said that he influenced that when in fact they lied. You know, this is something that they did to steal something from me, to keep things that they've stolen from me. That's in the form of muscle, brain cells, and any and everything else. Energy. You know, like this can-do attitude, you know. My brother has always been a low life. And everything that he's ever done has been influenced by me. It's a demon seed. And it loved me until they decided that it was time to attack and showed up as him. So anyhow, that's an example that took place today. The 8th of January. Same thing has been taking place with situations in the neighborhood. I have a video that I'm working on composing. It'll be, I don't know, maybe the end of the month, maybe not. Maybe it won't hit till February. It'll be uploaded till February. But it's titled Humbug Compilation Neighborhood or something like that. It has Humbug Neighborhood in the title. So these demonic deeds, they're being done. They're attacking me to steal energy. They're attacking me to steal brain cells, you know, to be able to think in a way that they weren't able to think before. You know, they got these new identities and they just found it convenient, like, for the times to attack me. So they tried to dummy me down and, like, literally enhance and advance lowlifes. It's 8:32. They're contracting all the muscles in my neck and shoulders. And discussing how they're digging in my vertebrae. They the females keep talking about they got their hands in places that they're not supposed to have them. They're pushing my face into the pillow. They're making the pillow hard and they're pressing my head into it, and it causes a lot of discomfort. Sometimes they'll do this pull, like they're pulling the skin in 2 opposite directions. So like this. Physics, no. Paranormal activity is accomplished by physics. Physics is accomplished by mathematics. Complex mathematic expressions. She said, we're going to rapture that womb and your ass going to be, my expression made her stop talking. I couldn't believe she said that. We're going to rapture that womb. They saw that I left that out of the complaint. I didn't want to get into how that was a hidden meaning behind the rapture. But she just said we're gonna rapture that womb and your ass gonna be doing shit that don't nobody know. Outfits. And guess what? They can all be agents and not know that one another is agents. I caught them all looking at me. And this guy over here, he's kind of looking at them like y'all don't even know what the fuck is going on and what's about to happen. And then this guy right here, he's real uncomfortable, so he always like kind of rubs his head when he tries to look at me without looking. I want to show you something. I just caught a guy that's just waiting on me to get here. He on the login screen, he just typed a bunch of stuff into the field, and he's kind of just scrolling across it back and forth without logging in. That same guy, he's been acting like he's going to leave for about 10 minutes now. He knows that I'm waiting to use the computer that he's on because the other one is too close to like a really offensive looking agent. So what he's doing is he's just standing here, not doing anything. Every once in a while he'll act like he's about to take off and doesn't, because he knows that I'm waiting. Right now they're discussing how I told people exactly what he was doing. The influence thing I've been telling you about. Before I left the house, I tried to force myself to eat. I didn't have much I need to cook like today, and they were trying to force me to get Subway, but what I did was I packed a turkey sandwich with me, so they'll show up next to me eating, and what they'll do is they'll remove the few chips that I had that should hold me over for a few hours, or at least an hour and a half too. They'll begin to remove that from my stomach and induce the feeling of hunger, and then they'll say they influenced it. It's ridiculous. Absolute torture. Now they're going off. The guy got up and left when he was through, and they said that these other people are looking like, who tells on everyone? You don't understand why I tell on everyone. Well, probably because y'all possessed every fucking body. Who places ownership on everyone and leaves no real people? So that when someone has to fight, when I have to fight, it's me against the world. Who does that? Okay, so often after something like that happens, well, not often, very seldomly will they show back up. What they're doing right now is they're blocking all my emails. I'm trying to send the drafts that are on the phone to my email so that I can work on them and print them out. They're blocking that. I told you it's seldom. They show back up to show that they have something to do with it. They show back up to show that they have something to do with it. I tried to upload the video from yesterday. And see, they always have that sort of action going on, the clear the throat action. That's the devil. But anyhow, the video from yesterday, regarding the anger and me hurting someone, I was looking for that to upload it. They're not allowing it to register for uploads. They're not allowing it to register for uploads. So I guess I'm going to work on my student loan repayment plan. Stupid fucking things. Anyhow, I told you they're allowing the imposters in the area to listen in on what I'm working on. This is a way to control the nature of, this is a way to control the impression that they're giving. I'm going to have to call this, I'm going to have to call Great Lakes. And that's what they'll hear. It appears that I'm here working on something that I'm not. Like, I'm just trying to renew this fucking IBR, and that takes literally minutes. And my reservation for the green room is until 3. I have a half hour. So anyhow, what I was sending that they're blocking is a notice to AMHA regarding my rent and the landlord. The mayor's legal office complaint. And the Jackson Township Police officer complaint. They know I was going to put screenshots of the complaint at the end of the video that I'm composing today, and this kind of interferes with that. Okay. Yeah, that guy, he just came and kind of started standing there. I seen him frown when he walked by. He was frowning at what I was working on. I told you they let him hear. So when I looked up, he smiled at me. When he smiled, I frowned. And they ended my call. Okay. African American and Native history is located in this room right here. Nowhere in this room will you find the truth about my bloodline. However, you will come to the conclusion that all races have a common ancestor, because that's exactly how they shaped it. The government has a way of making available to you what they want you to know. For nothing, from way back there. Right now, the females are discussing how they want to get beat up as the guys that they showed up on that are mentally ill. Like the example I just gave you. And that they have to find a way to justify, you know, vamping up the security here at the library. And that, yeah, so they were thinking that I jump on that guy. Let me tell you something. As angry as I am, my resources are limited, and I'm very well aware of that. So I would never compromise getting myself kicked out of somewhere unless it was absolutely necessary, because there's hoops that I have to jump through in order to come back here after I hurt someone. And if I can avoid that, then that's what I'll do. It is going to have to be some major. So anyhow, what they're going to have to do is orchestrate something. So they'll come in here as a couple of low lives, and they'll get into it, and it'll justify the need. The good thing is, when they want me out, things go quick. So upload should be snappy today. Then they always have the random white teen show up.
I moved away from them, so they kind of hung out here. Don't forget, those are outfits. And I told you they love to write about themselves. No, that's not the devil. Those are all aliens. Outfits. Outfit. Matter of fact, he took a picture when I was protesting. You know, I suppose maybe sometimes he takes classes at the university and he tries to act like he's concerned about the community and, you know, the ways that things are being conducted and handled. But he's not. And they switch him out. Like, they use his identity for many different things. When he shows up to one place, he's one thing. When he shows up to another, he's another. They're faking my internet connection at McDonald's. See how that's... But I'm not connected. They just broke a bunch of my nails, too. A bunch of, like, 2. I've disconnected and connected a bunch of times. You're paying attention. I'm not getting the login screen. You're mad because I didn't go to the transit.